Hello and welcome to this month's orientation session. What is this orientation session? Well, first off, I'm Luca. I'm your holistic nutrition gal. And this whole session is an hour-long deep dive into exploring what it is we're doing in the Good Food Network. Why does this matter? This is for the person who is contemplating joining us in the Good Food Network. You'll get a bit of a look behind the scenes to see what we're doing in the Good Food Network this month. It's also meant as a sneak peek for or a way to navigate through the content for the person who is joining us. So it's part orientation, part open doors, if you will, and a way to invite in a bit of a behind the scenes peek at what it takes to run the Good Food Network. I'm Luca. I'm a holistic nutrition practitioner. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I love what I do. I love the power of food. It astounds me to no end how much we can signal safety to the body through the foods, the frequency we eat, and the way that we feed ourselves. And when we do this work, we reduce what's driving our symptoms. Our symptoms are not our body working against us. They are our body trying to tell us something. And my work is in helping arm you with what it is that your body's trying to tell you and the tools to know and decipher those messages that he, she, they may be sending. So, hi, welcome to here. Glad you're here. Okay. I always start this with now, first things first, March, which just started 2 days ago, is a new topic here in the Good Food Network. What is our new topic? Brrr, drum roll, please. Perimenopause and menopause. Why? Because I'm knee deep in it, baby. And my friends and my pals and my sisters are all knee deep in it with me. And honey pie, we do not need to do this by ourselves. We do not need to do all the research ourselves. And we don't need to sit down and do digging around and trying to piece together what an approach can look like. You could just come into the Good Food Network. I did it for myself, so now let's do it for everybody else. And I'll share what has helped me. Now, full disclosure, I'm 52 next week. Whoop, whoop. And the only perimenopause symptoms I have, I'm going to be super vulnerable here. This feels a little bit like I'm still super regular with my cycle, like on clockwork, like ridiculously super regular. Um, my only symptoms are my hair is thinning a little bit, and like a little bit more anxiety, like a little bit more where I'm nervous driving at night. But part of that too is because I'm not in a car here in the Netherlands and I don't want to be in a car at night anymore because I never drive in a car. So is it perimenopause or is it because I live in a car-free kind of life? Who knows? And that's it. I don't have any of the other symptoms. Will I still get them? I may potentially get them, absolutely. But because of my deep understanding of the deep nutrition piece, in especially supporting somebody who has inflammatory, autoimmune, histamine, mast cell activation pieces to the picture, I think the way that we feed ourselves and the way that we support our own biochemistry and our own metabolic health can bring us massive changes and benefits to making it a little bit easier through different transitions in life, including that of menopause. So, yeah, I don't have any hot flashes, pal. I do, my cycles are exactly how they've been. The flow is exactly how it's been the whole time. It is like clockwork. The cramps are the same amount. I used to be debilitated for 2 or 3 days of the month. I had to take off of work. Now I take over-the-counter pain meds 2 days, maybe 2 days, where I used to have to take heavy-duty medications for it, and now I don't. Like, yeah. So there's a lot you can do, and we're going to be addressing so many different aspects of it on the topic of perimenopause and menopause throughout the month of March and into April, because let's not just do 1 month, let's go deep. So this next section is how to know you would benefit from joining us in the Good Food Network. So I'm going to start with the top 10 ways to know that your body is struggling through perimenopause or menopause, even if your cycles are still pretty regular, but you're starting to feel a little bit different. And it feels like, I feel like middle age is like Mother Nature putting her hands on your shoulders and going, I wasn't messing around. I meant what I said. Get to it, baby. So, are you feeling this transition and are you feeling it deeply? Here are the top 10 ways that I see it in my clients. The symptoms that tell me here we are at the midpoint of life. If these symptoms show up, this is perimenopause knocking on the door asking for some help. And each of these symptoms will tell me different pieces of what it is you need in terms of support. What are the top 10 ways your body is asking for help through this transition through perimenopause and menopause? How many of these do you have? Take a piece of paper, jot down a check mark every time you say, oh, yeah, that's me. Number one, do you have night sweats, hot flashes? And night sweats can be morning sweats, let's be honest. Number two, do you struggle with mood troubles, anxiety, or do you feel low? And pronouncedly more than you used to, where it's really starting to ramp up. Number three, do you have problems with sleep? This can be insomnia itself, hard time falling asleep. This could be waking up a few times a night. This can be waking up to go pee many times a night or waking up not feeling refreshed. Number four, are you getting brain fog? Do you find yourself it's hard to concentrate and to use the old noggin? Number five, oh, Number five, histamine issues are ramping up, or new symptoms that have histamine behind it are ramping up. Is it ramping up in perimenopause? Oh, baby, it tells us even more of what's happening and going on behind the scenes when histamine is an issue. Histamine is just a symptom, pals. It is not the root piece of why you're having troubles. It is just a symptom. And again, a symptom is just how your body tells you something's up. Number six, do you have trouble handling stress like you used to? Is it getting tougher? Do you have less patience? Do you have shorter fuse? Is your tolerance and your capacity a lot lower? That can also be what do they call it? When I turned 40, my friend said, "Oh yeah, I don't give a SHI bleep. Your bleep factor goes right up." And then my 50-year-old friend said, "Oh yeah, when you turn 50, your I don't give a bleep bleep F word factor goes right up." Yeah, that's part of perimenopause. All right, number seven. Here it is, short temper, lack of patience. Is that new to the table? How's perimenopause, pal? Yes, hold. I have that one. Number eight, is your hair thinning or shedding more than it used to? My hair is totally thinned out. I could try to make it poofy if I want. It's not what it used to be. Number nine, are you getting weight changes where you are seeing, especially that muffin top in the midriff area? In and around this transition, we are, yeah, naturally, I think we're supposed to soften. I don't think it's by error. I don't think you're broken, by the way. And I think this is a part of this transition. But also, how's it going? Are you doing okay? Number 10, skin changes. So here you can have dryness, sensitivity, or new breakouts. Are any of these your symptoms that you're currently going through? And do you find yourself anywhere north of 39? How's perimenopause for you, pal? How's menopause itself? Whether or not you still have your period. Those are the top 10s, but it's not all that I've got. I've got way more symptoms. So when I'm working with clients, and to me, it's apparent that we're going to need to put in some supports through perimenopause and menopause, it is a surefire call to actually support the adrenals more than anything else. Always, always, when it comes to the transition time of this point and this stage of life I find myself in, this is when it is absolutely imperative that we look after your adrenals. So for any of my clients that are coming to me with symptoms, we always address symptoms. We always address how their main day-to-day health and how they're navigating through the world. When my clients who are going through perimenopause mention any of these symptoms, that's when I know it's tied to this hormonal shift. And we're going to need to get at those symptoms through this hormonal shift piece. Do you feel wired and tired? You cannot sleep and you are exhausted. Like everyone's gone to bed and now I can probably solve all of the problems of the world and I could probably research everything and then doom scroll, but maybe I could start a new craft and maybe I should start a new puzzle and maybe I could do research and I could. Muscles or joint aches. That's another one that can absolutely ramp up in this time frame. Blood sugar fluctuations and cravings. So it's interesting. I just sent out a newsletter to my newsletter gang. And in there, I was talking about how for one client, she had hot flashes, and I had that in mind. But in our conversation, realized that at the root of all of her symptoms was blood sugar troubles. She was having a hard time regulating her own blood sugars over the course of the day. When we put in some foundational pieces to support her through that, this was when we started to see a shift in a reduction of the symptoms, her hot flashes in particular. So, blood sugar fluctuations, cravings, getting hangry in the middle of the afternoon, needing a nap in the middle of the afternoon, if that's happening in and around this hormonal shift, how are the other symptoms? Oh, when we address blood sugars, this person in particular is going to see benefits arise and their symptoms start to wane. It's not just because they've got extra estrogen coursing around that they can't clear, not necessarily. It can be a combination of any of these things. And all of these symptoms are just symptoms. What's at the root? I address the root. That's what we do in the Good Food Network. Other pieces that can tend to show up in and around this transition stage in life that could be other symptoms showing up. How many of these do you have? Do you have changes in digestion? Do you feel bloated, congested, constipated, sluggish, metabolism? You eat a steak and it feels like a steak baby that you're just going to have to sit on for 3 days? Yeah, that absolutely, there's digestive shifts that happen during perimenopause and into menopause. And these are some of those early warning signs of that shift going on. And that is a call to actually mount some supports. Heart palpitations or blood pressure shifts. That's another one that can come around this transition time. What about loss of muscle tone or difficulty maintaining strength? Yeah, there's shifts in testosterone at this stage of life. And anywhere you're getting any big shifts in hormone function, you're going to see an impact on so many different levels. And muscle building is one of them. Sleep is a hormonal function, libido is a hormonal function, mood is a hormonal function. Thyroid is a hormonal function. Adrenals and stress response is a hormonal function. All of these are going to be impacted during this transitory time. Do you have vaginal dryness or discomfort? These are all a big part of what's going on in this hormonal shift and can be an indicator and a request to bump up DHEA or progesterone, for example, and why these other hormones might be out of balance. Lowered libido. I hate mentioning that one, but yeah, no, and there's really good thought behind. Okay, so the science shows that libido is a natural thing that decreases as we get older. But if you think about it, I don't think we're broken. As we get older, if we're still fertile and our libido is really high, we will potentially get pregnant at a time where there's a higher incidence of different things potentially malfunctioning in the DNA replication process, in the making of the gametes, in the fusion of the egg and the ovum and the sperm, and right, like all of these different genetic pieces that have the potential, your potential of developing, of having genetic issues in the fetus can ramp up as we get older. Like the chances of it increase as we get older. So is the damping down of the libido kind of a piece to the picture that would make us less likely to be pregnant at this age? Is it part of the design to help us better navigate through? I don't know. Better navigate, no, because this is dangerous territory. I don't want to get myself in trouble and I don't want to say something wrong. I think everyone who comes to this earth is wanted, should be wanted, and I want them all. And anyway, these are all pieces that I think about, and I always approach this with through the lens of we are not broken and we don't need to pretend like we're 20 years old. The libido of a 52-year-old should not be the libido of a 23-year-old. We're not 23. We have a very different experience through the world. Yeah. The obvious one, if you're having troubles through perimenopause and menopause, where of course mood, insomnia, the all the other big guys that we've mentioned. How many of these do you have? You know, these shifts are aging, sure, but are they just aging? No. I think they're signs that your body is adapting to lots of those hormonal changes, and they're asking for the right kind of support. Again, you are not broken. You are not broken. You are merely adjusting, and it is a tough adjustment to make. It's another, I posted about this earlier this week. Menopause is another hormone transition, much like puberty is. It's kind of like a second puberty. Yeah. And it is just as an important change and as an important shift. There are two mammals on the planet that go through menopause. And it's not by accident. Humans and whales. Why? Because I think women in postmenopausal years bring a benefit and a service to humanity and to the family, actually, and to the survival of the species in both the whales and the humans. Yeah, yeah. So part of what we do in the Good Food Network is we're working at nourishing you through this perimenopause and menopause transition. And so much of the work that I propose is all about that deep nourishment piece to make sure your adrenals have what they need in order to get through the shifts that are coming through. Part of what happens is your ovaries start to dial down how much they function. And your ovaries are your principal hormone makers of those reproductive hormones when you are in your reproductive stage of life. And as you're transitioning through to menopause, your ovaries shut down because the shop's closed, baby. That's what I keep saying. The shop is closed. Nuh-uh. And those ovaries, as they shut down, some of the hormones they make now start to go to your adrenals. That function now gets shifted to your adrenals, and your adrenals take over making a hormone called DHEA. DHEA is the next version of progesterone. And for anybody who meets middle age and this transitory time and is struggling through, it is entirely because the adrenals have been doing so many other things that now you've just added one more thing to the bloody to-do list. And your adrenals are like, I'm done. I'm done. You're on your own. I cannot help you. I cannot help you. I need some help. It's not really what they're saying. It's not a war. They're not against you, but they are letting you know that something's up and they've run out of some of the juice they need. And the more we can provide some of those nutrients, nourishment, deep nutrition pieces to help fuel the metabolic health, the adrenal health, helping you through the stress response to be able to turn it off, the better and easier transition you will have through perimenopause and into menopause. Yeah, that's the work we're doing in the Good Food Network. Now, I've done some really pretty notes, so let me get into it. I like to riff off and I prefer not to read notes, but this is just so good. So what is happening beneath the surface when perimenopause and menopause symptoms are around? So the reason is in this transitory time, in this hormone shifting time, it has a potential of impacting so many things, our metabolic and thyroid health. So in this transition time, how that can show up with somebody who's struggling with with either metabolism or thyroid health, our energy levels can start to tank. That can be actual energy output throughout the day or cognitive output as well and brain power. It can be our weight can start to be impacted, and blood sugar balancing is also another big indicator of the metabolic and thyroid health struggling. Perimenopause and menopause also impact your brain and your mood. So this will obviously impact your focus, your clarity, and your emotional resilience. How are you making it through the day? Do you find you've got enough fuel, or are you ready at 1 o'clock to call it a day and go have a nap? And can you please go have the nap if you need it? Perimenopause and menopause also impact your cardiovascular health. So when you're going to be diving into the work that I propose in the Good Food Network, not only will you be helping that transitory time, but you will also be supporting cardiovascular health. Why is that important? As we shift, the shift into menopause has an impact on our blood pressure, on our cholesterol, and on the circulation of blood, which now impacts our energy and the delivery of all the nutrients to every other body part in our body. Perimenopause and menopause also impact, of course, bone health. I think that one's very obvious to many of us. Now, how does it impact? The changing balance of estrogen and progesterone actually affects the bone density piece. Yeah. Perimenopause and menopause also impact inflammation and your whole immune system function. It can drive symptoms like joint pain, headaches, and fatigue, and so much more, histamine issues, and a lot. Like, it just goes on and on. That's everything I talk about. So when we start to look after the body through perimenopause and menopause, you can switch this around. As we do this deep nutrition piece and lifestyle ideas we'll be talking about, we will not only be supporting you with an easier transition through perimenopause and menopause, we'll also be supporting your metabolism and your thyroid health, your brain and your mood health, your cardiovascular health. We'll be improving your chances with the bone health piece. And we will also be highlighting and supporting your inflammatory things to turn it off, and therefore supporting your immune system function as well. Oh, so you can keep well. This is about quality and quantity of life. This is the work I propose. How do we support this transition? So rather than pushing through or feeling at the mercy of these changes and going, I am so done with this, you can sit and mellow in those symptoms if you want, or you can see them as a call from the body to asking for change. When we shift into support mode, as opposed to, oh God, I feel terrible. When you shift into support mode, you're now going to nourish your thyroid, your metabolism, you're going to get steady energy. You're going to balance blood sugars, you're going to reduce cravings, and you're going to support the weight piece as well, balancing out. You're also going to be working at reducing inflammation, which will help protect your immune system, your bones, your joints, your brain function, your heart, and your eyes, and every other body part. You'll also be supporting the nervous system, and this will help ease anxiety, it'll help ease stress, and it will help alleviate those sleep disruptions as well. We will also be working with the gut microbiome, and when we do this, we help enhance nutrient absorption, we help make the foods that you're eating count, and we help reduce what's driving so many of the other things that make those symptoms show up. The gut microbiome is a massive piece to this. We're doing a full session on that alone, actually. When we support the body's needs during this transition, symptoms start to become more manageable. Your energy, your mood, and your vitality improve. That's what I'm proposing. Is this what you want? Are you wanting to improve your vitality, improve your mood, improve your energy, improve like part 2 of your life? How do you want to move through part 2? Do you want to move with vivacity? I do. Who's going to join me? I'm going to be the lady that wears wild colors as I get into my older age. Where will you start? When you join the GoodFood Network, we've got many, many pieces on offer, and it is all open as soon as you come in the doors. Where will you get a lot of these benefits? Well, first, you're going to join the live conversations. So we have live conversations in office hours. We also have food as medicine. Oh, I don't have office hours anymore. This is an old one. Whoops. You can join the food as I used to have in office hours and nobody came. So I reduced the price and stopped making myself available. I thought it was the selling point. Apparently it's not. But the live sessions, the live conversations, we've got a weekly session called the Food is Medicine sessions on Thursday mornings, 7 a.m. Alberta time. I'm yakking away. You can just have it playing in the kitchen. You don't even need to have your camera on. I turn it off, in fact. We also have a live class every month. The live class this month is SOS Perimenopause. You can also check the schedule to see what's happening and joining us when you're able to. And everything that happens live also gets a replay. In addition to this, we also have content that is available all the time from the start, and you can dive into those right away, tout de suite. We have a class on going sprouted, where you would choose to go sprouted or to go paleo, and what that can look like, and how to know if you're the person who would be well suited to that. We also have a whole cooking class on cooking eggs. Yeah, a whole bunch of different ways of thinking of making eggs, because when you really dial in that breakfast piece, you can do so much to support everything that isn't working well when you've got symptoms through perimenopause and menopause. Yeah. So we start you off with eggs. There's a whole 90-minute cooking class that you access whenever you want. There is also a full 3-hour class on adrenals alone. That class by itself is 80. And if you wanted to take it by itself, you'd pay 80, but you're paying 35 to get in the network, and you will have access to it all month long, this month and next month. And if that's the only piece you do, you will get your money's worth. So there's lots on offer. and you will tailor it to what it is you need. So let's take a peek behind the scenes as a bit of a see what you get when you join the network so that it's super utilitarian. It's not excessively beautiful to get into, but once you know how to get into the different moving parts, then you're going to see how much content there is in there for you to consume. And I keep it at this price point because I'm able to keep it on this platform that isn't, what are the big ones like Patreon or Thinkific or Teachables or those things. The price point was so much more. So this is a part of how I keep the price point low. I want this to be accessible. I want it to feel like anybody who's looking for one-on-one support but may not be able to afford it at this point, but wants to maybe start getting in on some of the pieces they need to support themselves through perimenopause. I want you to feel like you can come and join this. You will find so much in here on your own if you're self-motivated. Yeah. Okay, let's jump in and see what it looks like. So once you log in, it takes you into this place called I call it the hub. How do I make it full screen? There we go. I have a new computer and sometimes it changes things. So once you're in the hub, so you log into this, when you log in, you get an email, or when you register for the Good Food Network, you get an email that says login page, bookmark this. You'll need it to get back into the Good Food Network every time you want to come join us in. So when you log in, this is the home page. This is what it looks like. This is me up top. This would be you if it was your account. You're going to see a bunch of different things. This is your home page. The way to get to your home page is clicking on this emblem anywhere you are on any page within the hub. It'll always take you back to the home page. You're going to see these little boxes. These are called widgets. Widgets take you to they're kind of different functionality, and they'll be set up different ways depending how big your window is. I always like to maximize it so that I can see all of my widgets. So I've got my programs, and this is where the Good Food Network is. GF Network. I've also got a widget here that says upcoming sessions. Upcoming sessions is the live classes. Excuse me. So our live class right now, we're doing the orientation call. So when it's time to join one of the live classes, you just click on this little camera icon. You'll be able to join the live class. They will all be listed here for the month ahead. Whenever it's time to join in, you'll click on it. Now, it will give you the time in your own time zone. I happen to be in the Netherlands, Central European time zone. So for me, 5 p.m. is when this session starts. For you, if you're in Alberta, it'll be 9 a.m. If you're in Toronto, it'll be 11 a.m. So this will adjust to whatever time it occurs that you are in. And if you're moving around and you go to different places, it'll update it to whatever time zone you're in as well, which is kind of cool. So when it's time to join, so for example, this Thursday, we're doing a Food as Medicine quick weekly video. When it comes to Thursday, March 6th, 3 p.m. my time, I'm going to click on this Zoom little icon, and that's going to bring me right into the session. So for anybody who wants to join us live, that's how you do it. Every live session has a replay. So if you can't join us live, you'll still be able to dive in when you're able to. The way to approach the Good Food Network to me is to dedicate an hour a week. If you dedicate an hour a week, you're going to get more than your money's worth. There's so much content in here, you could give 2 to 3 hours a week and still have enough content to cover. But I want you to feel like you are going to be the gatekeeper and take on only what it is you can do and what feels manageable to you. Because you have to learn when is enough for yourself. And I'm going to give you too much. On purpose. I want you to know that you're living in a time of abundance and that I will always keep doing research and getting back to you to help you answer questions of whatever you've got. And so I'm always an ally on your team, but you have to be a team player as well. And you have to integrate yourself into it as well. You have to say, I'm taking pieces 1, 2, and 3. I'm leaving 4, 5, and 6 behind. And I encourage that to everybody joining the network. Now, to access the actual network, once you're on the home page and you've logged in, you look under My Programs, and there's Good Food Network right there. You can click on Programs up here. It will get you to a list of your programs. Either way, you will get to the Good Food Network. This is what it looks like when you're logged in, right into the network itself. You'll see here you've got a bit of a menu up here, Overview, Modules, Chat, Sessions, My Progress. So the Zoom links are through the sessions button here as well. There's a bit of a few other things and you can tootle around. I'll tell you, you cannot make anything disappear. Once you're in here, here are all the modules. These are all the different parts of the Good Food Network. So it's set up as a program, if you will, but it's really just a bunch of different modules pieced together and organized in 4 different sections. The first section is kind of your administrative stuff, and it's the Start Here section. This is stuff to do with your membership. Next one is pre-recorded content. This is your on-demand stuff. This is, I want to access it right now. I'm going to dive into it today. You've got 3 to choose from. I'll take you through what they look like in a minute. Your next section is called the live sessions. Live sessions means it's like 1987, Thursday night, and you're going to go watch The Cosby Show at 8 p.m. And if you know that reference, you are in perimenopause right now, or menopause itself. Yeah. Yeah. And so this is like network television happening live in the moment. You can go and join in the information, find the information on these sessions in here. Your actual button to join us live is going to be under sessions or in that homepage in your widget of upcoming sessions. We've also got a whole module or a whole section on written content. The written content is just that, it's things to print. So I actually want to start here. For the person who's going to join us this month and is new to the Good Food Network, which I know we will get new people this month. It is exciting to me. It's the first time I've done perimenopause. This is where you want to start, because this you'll be able to knock 3 things off really quickly. Let's start with the first one. In the written content, we've got 3 sections. I don't have more than 3 things in each of the active parts of the network. So you've got 3, well, the administrative and then 3 pieces to the network, and each of those 3 has 2 or 3 things in it. So we keep it simple. It's not simple. There's a lot. Who am I kidding? Okay, 3 things. You've got recipes of the month. Every month we've got 5 recipes. For those who are in the recipe subscription service, it's the same recipes. So yeah, recipe people, you've already got these. But these are the 5 recipes for this month. We've got raw carrot salad, apple sage pork chops, frittata with greens, miso creamed greens, and overnight oats. There's a different reason why each of these recipes has been included. They all have to do with perimenopause and menopause and can offer some brilliant nutrients to help fuel us through this transition time. So all of these are fantastic seasonal eats that are going to help us through perimenopause and menopause. So where you've got this recipe, you click on download, it downloads to your computer. From your downloads folder, that's where you pull it up and you can print it up. So you've got 5 here you can get at. And once you've done and printed them up, I encourage you to go up here and see the button that says mark completed. If you click on that, you're going to let me know that you're at it and you're doing the work, which is awesome. But I like that because when you come back to the Good Food Network, the next time you log in, you're going to see here recipes of the month. Oh, it's been completed. Oh, I did this part already. I don't have to go back in to look at it. You can by viewing it, but you've already gone in to print them up. So now it's a check mark on that to-do list, which feels so good. Yeah. Now you've got 2 more sections in here. You've got a weekly Good Food Challenge. Every week in the network, I talk about a food to focus on for the week and reasons why. So this week just went up earlier today. Beets is the food of the week. So in this module, I'm encouraging everybody in the Good Food Network to learn how beets can be of support. They give you so many nutrients that are awesome to help balance some of the things going on when menopause and perimenopause is around. So this image will describe why I love the nutrients. And then each week, I also include 6 to 8 or sometimes 10 ways to include this food in recipes or in ways to cook it. There's always really simple and easy, like why don't you steam them in the Instant Pot and serve them with olive oil and sea salt or butter, to more complicated things where there's a quick beet soup, for example. So I try to come up with some easy ideas and some more complicated ones for those who are keen on experimenting and cooking a bit more from the hip. And we've always got the earlier challenges that get bumped down to the bottom of the list. So last week we had sweet potatoes, and that was more for adrenals, but they're still really good. And we've got 8 ideas under here on featuring sweet potatoes for the week. Now, every week this gets updated. So make sure you check back every week. And if that's where you check in, because say Friday mornings you're dedicating to just the network, then this is always the first place to go. What was the food for this week? Oh, beets. I'll add that to my grocery list. Oh, sweet potatoes? Ugh, we haven't roasted sweet potatoes in a while. I'm adding that to my grocery list. And it can help you think of ways to actively bring in some of the information from the network into your kitchen. It's a very simple way in. Very simple way in. Do you need to remember why the nutrients are so important? No. Why don't you just bring the food in? And every time you eat beets now, you're going to be like, this is so good for perimenopause. I don't know why, but it is. And it's delicious. That's a better thing to focus on, in my opinion. Yeah. There's one last module here in the written content, and this is on eating with the seasons. A lot of what I talk about in my classes, I always name check eating in alignment with what's going on in the outside world. And every season shift, I shift the content. And this month we have spring starting. So I have a short video that explains why eating with the seasons is a way into supporting a body, what it means, what it can look like, and why this may be a way forward, and things to think about. And every season, you've got two handouts. There is a list of foods. So here, for example, this is the one for spring. So these are foods that would typically be available in spring, but also nourishing deeply for those organs that work extra hard in the spring. Your liver, for example. And your liver has a big part to play in how you make your way through perimenopause. Oh, interesting, Luca. Was that on purpose? You have no idea how much I give thought to how I put things together. Or maybe you do. Yeah, and then you've got a list of superfoods, teas, roots and shoots, herbs and spices, and then different things. And then different things to think about for the season. So this may be something that you want to get into for one of your sessions where you're going to sit in and dive into the content. Even just doing this and sitting with what it feels like to move through the season can be the worth of the whole network in and of itself. There's loads of content in this module alone. So if this is one of the spots you concentrate on this month, you're going to be ahead of the game. And then if you really like those spring recipes and you need some more, then I've got a little enticement down here if you want to access some more recipes. And then once you're done, you can click on Mark Completed if you wish. Now that's the written content. I'm going to jump, we've got the pre-recorded on-demand stuff and then the live sessions. Before we get to that, I want to jump back to that sort of admin part. For anybody who's joining us new this month, start with the Start Here kitten, obviously. Why? Because this gives you the rundown. There's a whole ideas on how to make the best out of the network, how to get the best worth out of the network, how to really prioritize, and an invitation to take only what it is you need and to no longer be like the colonizers and just take what you need and leave the rest. Yeah. Oh God, baby. I'm here to help. So we've got in here the orientation call. There's a replay link here for those who want to watch this again. There is also information usually about when the next one is going to be. Oops, this was not updated. Obviously, I need to change that. I'll change it today. And then there's a bit of a write-up on what each section is and what it might, who it might benefit. So for example, I've got this vitality class I'll show you in a minute. This is a 3-hour class actually this month, pertains to the main topic of the month. So this is a massive part of what is on offer in the Good Food Network that is hard to find anywhere else. These are classes I used to run at the Light Cellar that should have been full weekend kind of classes because of how deep we go. But then this next column tells you who'd be best suited to take this. So current clients. I have quite a few clients who are in the network. Those who are working through health troubles related to the main topic this month, or those who have chronic health conditions, histamine, autoimmune, whatever, type 2 diabetes, those types of things. So you will see if this is something that might be beneficial to you to jump in, and this might help you better figure out what it is in the network you want to use for yourself, what you want to access. Okay. So that's in there. Now, in that Start Here part and the administrative getting started section, there's also a schedule and checklist. So once you've gone through the Start Here kitten, this is where you go next because you want to download and print this month's calendar. These are the live sessions in March. So you could just take it at a glance or you can print it by downloading to your computer and then printing up. I always have a copy, a paper copy beside me so that I've got it. Oh yeah, I know I have to do such and such this day and I got to get things ready for it. Next to this, the next two handouts in this module are to help you get the best use out of the network. Once you're in here, you want to go to the checklist because this is going to help you prioritize. So here we've got every moving part of the Good Food Network. You could do all of these. I don't know anybody who does. And if you are, calm down. It's too much. I know it's too much. You don't have to take it all. I want you to prioritize. In fact, if you haven't done it thus far, I invite you to prioritize. What of this month do you want to take, and only take what it is you want to take? Go through the list, go through and take a peek and see what's going to be happening, and choose what you want to prioritize and let go of what won't work. So the 3-hour adrenals class is too long. Scratch it off. Print this baby up, scratch it off, and say, I'm not even doing it this month. I'm not even doing the scratch cooking class. I know how to cook eggs, Luca. I don't need a cooking class. Great, scratch it off. Oh, you know where I do want to join is that SOS Perimenopause class. Well, if that's one you really want to prioritize, write down number 1 in this column on the left. That way, you're going to prioritize right off the get-go what you're going to get at in the network for the month. And if you leave this next to your computer by your desk or at the home office or on a corkboard somewhere, it's going to remind you what are the pieces you're going through. And as you finish it, you check mark it. So it's that sense of completion. You've got the recipes of the month. Well, the ones I just showed you, the recipes, the eating with the seasons and the weekly challenge. Well, I've already knocked those out already. So check mark, check mark, check mark. Aren't you a superstar? Yeah. Now, in addition, I name check this worksheet quite a bit in the live sessions and the recorded, well, not so much the recorded sessions, but in the live sessions I do for sure. And this is for you to build your one-page cheat sheet on whatever our topic is in this month, it's menopause. So this is where you're going to use this throughout the sessions in the month. For example, what are your main goals? What I want to address or work at this month, or maybe why or how, how it shows up in my body. Okay. Well, for me, menopause, it's thinning hair. I want to address my thinning hair and my maybe ramped up anxiety. That's what I would write down here. As I go through the content, you're going to see there's 2 sections. These are action items. What do I want to do regarding food? What do I want to do regarding lifestyle and more? So for example, oh, beets. Beets are a really good food to help me through menopause. I'm going to write beets. Action items regarding lifestyle and more. We're going to talk about weight training and the role it can play in menopause and through the transition to ensure better function in part 2 of your life. So, for example, weight training 3 times a week. I need to get a trainer. Blah, blah, writing those pieces down in this section. So this ends up being your one-page cheat sheet that has all of your work to do. And the reason is the stuff that's going to be talked about and that you're going to jot down is never going to go out of style. It's always going to be relevant and important. And this way you've got a one-pager that you can pull out 6 months from now and say, oh yeah, I'm really feeling those menopause symptoms, for example. I got to go back and start putting those things in for myself. What was it again? Oh yeah, beets. Sweet potatoes. Oh yeah, I wanted to work at thinning hair. Well, I'm going to add to this now that I'm getting insomnia more often. Okay, my action items. I need to do an Epsom salt foot soak. That's going to help because I'll talk about that in one of the sessions somewhere. So this becomes your sidekick. Let's think of it that way. And again, you download and print from your downloads folder. Once you've printed them all, you click on mark completed. And that way, next time you come into the program, well, look, I've already done it. I don't have to go back. Now there is a whole main topic. So I've changed it up this month and we've prettied it up so that it's a little bit easier to go through. It's less just writing and there's a little bit more flow to it. This tells you what it is we're going to be talking about. What you eat and how you nourish your body can make a world of difference how you make it through this transition, pal. So these are all the things we're going to explore. Who could benefit? These are all of the symptoms I just ran through. These shifts aren't just aging. They are signs that your body is adapting to hormonal changes and asking for the right kind of support. You are not broken. You're merely adjusting, and it's a tough adjustment to make. So we're going to nourish you through it. This is what's happening beneath the surface. How are we going to support you? And when we support, symptoms become manageable and everything starts to improve. Where do you start? Take only what you need and leave what you don't. Support, not stress. Yeah, that's it. That's all. And when you're done that one, you click on Mark Completed. I'm just going back to the modules to make it easy. If you have any questions about your network subscription, it's here. So that's the Start Here section, and we've done the last just printables. Now I want to highlight two areas. The first one is the pre-recorded content. This is the on-demand stuff. So you're going to have a choice of watching one or two or three or maybe even none of these if you so desire. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what each is going to be to help you better figure out or ascertain is it something that you're going to want to do. Everyone should do the vitality class for adrenals. Why? It goes deep into what the adrenals are. It talks about what impacts your adrenals so that you'll know what you need to maybe reduce. What are some of the things you're doing that might be contributing to why you have adrenals tuckered out? And we get into how to look after adrenals with 5 really big um, to-do pieces, if you will. So Vitality Class Adrenals is going to be there until the end of April. So you've got 2 months to watch it. And this is going to be an important piece at addressing what's driving the menopause going on and the symptoms. We've got a 90-minute cooking class on eggs. I did this with my daughter Eliza. We did it at the start of the pandemic for the junior high kids, and we happened to record the sessions. We had a really great time. It is very, very informal. It is right off the cuff, and we had a fantastic time. We had 72 kids joining us. And we had a riot. We just had a brilliant time. And it was such a way to come together and to have everybody cooking together. So we'd love for you to join us. Eliza takes you through some really important things. And she was all of 14 years old when we did this. It was the best. So this scratch cooking class is where you can spend a Saturday afternoon with a pal, a teenager in your life, and or yourself, and join us in preparing something from scratch. This month, we're talking eggs. There's another module. I want to draw your attention to this one. So I don't always talk about the Real Food Reset. It's a program I used to offer, and it was a 10 module program that should have taken about 3 months for clients to get through. And it was about how to get your real food game on. So this was something I ran in 2019, just before the pandemic. And I've saved all the modules. They're really quite dense. They're about 30 to 40 minutes each. This one is 31 minutes, and in it, we're going into going sprouted or going paleo, and you get to choose. So it's a choose your own adventure kind of scenario here. And this is of particular importance for those who are feeling inflammation, who are really feeling digestive dis-ease, and not disease, but discomfort, digestive discomforts, or who have autoimmune issues or symptoms are really ramping up and they're curious what would be a really quick needle mover to reduce what's driving their symptoms. Opting to go sprouted or paleo, this module is going to help you decide which one will be a better suit for you, better fit for you, and set you up with resources to know how to go about it. Swaps even are included in here. And you've got handouts to go with this video. There's extra articles for you to read if you want to understand, dive a little bit more. We've got Going Paleo, chia pudding, and we've got a low histamine version as well. Even if you're not going to do this module, go in and print up the recipes so you've got more recipes on hand. Yeah, there's extras everywhere. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, when you're done watching this, make sure you click on Mark Completed. Back to the pre-recorded content. I just showed you the Go Sprouted. That 3-hour class on adrenals is the golden gem of the entire Good Food Network. And that scratch cooking class is just a bonus Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon fun time thing to make if you're looking for something just ridiculous and hilarious. Yeah, it's not all just serious, pals. Now, the last I want to draw attention to are our live sessions. The live sessions are the new content that I build every month that is only accessible through the network. I used to do these as Facebook Lives, my Tuesday Lives, I called them. They're all now in the network. So if you remember those from a long time ago and you want to, you wish you had them again, and you were really consuming a lot of that content that I was putting out on social media, it's all under the network. Yeah, the food is medicine. We're doing a Thursday session every Thursday for the month. These are the 4 topics. So March 6th, this week, I better build it. Menopause and the hormonal shifts, what's going on. The second week, we're talking about stress and its impact on that transition through menopause. In our third week, Menopause. Is it an inflammatory condition? Jury's still out. March 27th, troubled sleep in menopause. So, for anybody who wants to dive into what those topics could mean, this is where you're going to find the juicy bits in the network. I'm going to show you something. Every time we have a session, they are usually posted. The latest one is up at the top, and as they are older, they get bumped down to the bottom under past sessions. So all of the replays, if you cannot join us live, the replays are posted in this module itself, just to keep it all contained in one neat box. So if any of these sessions would be of interest to you, this is worth joining the network for these 30-minute sessions alone. You will get 2 hours of content already, just if this is what you prioritize for the month. You would get plenty of benefits because in each of these 4 sessions, you're going to get 3 to-do pieces. That's amazing. That's ridiculous content, guys. I don't know if you realize. It's pretty dense. Now, the other live session we've got is a standalone class. This month, we're doing one on SOS perimenopause. And because I thought I don't have a standalone class that really dives into explaining and getting a rough beginning understanding of what it means when we're going through this transition time, what is a player in it, what's impacting, and what it is we can do to move forward. So we are going to be addressing some key goals. We're going to talk about the histamine connection and talk about why histamine symptoms ramp up during perimenopause. Anybody else feel that? I did. It was at the start of my perimenopause, and as I addressed the histamine issue, all of my menopause symptoms that were starting to creep in actually went away. Yes, ma'am. Inflammation in perimenopause, why inflammation ramps up. We're going to talk about cortisol and a bit of that hormone chaos I think a lot of people think about, and why symptoms can suddenly spiral. And we're also going to get into practical tools for balance. Now, this is a class that's standing on its own that people can sign up to take on its own. In the network, you get access to this class plus everything else. So for the person who's looking for a deal, this on its own is $30. In the network, you pay $35 for access to everything, including this class. I'm just saying, if the only thing you do is take this class and maybe join one Thursday morning session, you got your money's worth. It doesn't have to be 5 hours of study a week. It can be an hour and you will get good content out of it. So the replay, once it's done, will be in here. The handouts and everything else is always at the bottom of the module. So just scroll on down once you're in the network and you'll be able to retrieve them there. That is what is up in the Good Food Network this month. I have one last little piece I want to show you. So here you'll see the chat function on the left. You can also see it up top here, a little chat bubble. I want to draw your attention to this. When you click on this, so the chat bubble up here takes you to the group chat, because in the network, I've set up a group chat so that every time I've updated something in the network, I drop word in the chat. So it's kind of a running tally. So when you're first logging in, it's always a good idea to go check out the chat to see what has happened since last time you were in. So for example, feature beats this week. Oh, look, there's a few ideas on how to work it into your meals this week in the weekly Good Food Challenge module. Go find that module if you need some more. Oh yeah. Yesterday, I posted this, all right, or Saturday, we have new content. All right, we took out all the old stuff on adrenals, and now perimenopause and menopause was alive and well in the network. Every Friday, I also add a weekend reading piece for anybody who wants to dive deeper. And it's often built around questions that people in the network will send. So a few months ago, somebody asked about oxalates. So I found some information and posted some articles there of research that might be of interest to you. Why perimenopause is not about aging, I thought would be an interesting one. Every Thursday, there's a session, the food as medicine. And so I give you a little rundown of what you can expect that week and every other piece. So there's always something to be found in this session or in the chats. Yeah, all of the foods and the classes. So always check this chat whenever you join. I will tell you, when you join the Good Food Network, you can also send me a chat. You can send me any questions you've got. So when you have a question, you'll see my name is here. You just have to click here and then you type in, I have a question. I always put the same thing. Luca, why are you so funny looking? Okay, don't write that question, but you could. Yeah. So, oops, I've already signed off for the day. Not really, I'm here. But anyway, this all pops up here. This is where you can jot down a question and then I will hit reply. I'll get a notification on my end. And once I'm back at work, then I'll be able to answer your question and get back to you. Usually within a day, two tops, unless it's the weekend, then you'll get back to you when I'm back at work. So that's a really good feature, especially for anybody who's got questions and is thinking, I'd love to work with Luca, but one-on-one is just outside of my means. The Good Food Network is the place to come. And that's what I wanted to build. That's why I wanted to build the Good Food Network. I wanted to have a place that was available and accessible for everybody's price point, something that was accessible for them, where they could take themselves through and take only what they need and to build that discerning muscle to only take what it is they need. There's a lot of thought that's gone into this, and I've got lots on offer. I look forward to seeing you in the Good Food Network as we start to resolve what it is that's driving your symptoms so we can give your body what it is she needs to make it a bit of an easier transition through this on to next phase of your life, part two of your life. May it be a delicious and riotous good time. That's what I plan to do with my month of March. And if you have any questions, wherever you're watching this video, pop it in the comments below. I'll get back to you. I look forward to seeing you in the Good Food Network. P.S. The way to join us is in a link below. Always, always, always. Thank you for listening to my long diatribe. Goodbye. Salut et à bientôt.